Audio check 1, 2, 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing channel here tonight on Assetto Corsa Competizione here on the PlayStation 5 platform. We're here tonight at Oulton Park for round 3 of season 4 here on the PlayStation 5 as we're just coming through Lodge Corner, about to start the first race of the night. So here we come. We've got Kev Sim who put it on pole position in the qualifying session, just gone the one-shot qualifying session where you actually get 3 minutes to put a lap in, and that's it. You've really got to deliver on the spot. Managed to put it on pole ahead of Max Power in second. Titus in the house. Looked like he didn't get a lap in, or he put it P11, so big surprise there. And Max Power's got a drive through straight away as he gets to jump off the line on Kevsim in towards Old Hall Corner we go. So Max Power's going to have to be coming into the pit soon as he lost it onto the grass and he's pinned it into the wall. And Max Power there straight into the barriers at the beginning of this race, and that has gone absolutely pear-shaped there for him. As we can see, Sharkazuli's got Kangi looking around his outside here coming through Cascades, but Sharkazuli manages to hold on to what is third place at the moment with Max Power spinning out in front of them. But dramatic scenes here already. Max Power managed to get around the outside of Kevsim. Obviously jumped the start, which gave him a run on everybody going into turn 1. But then obviously got wide onto the grass and has lost out massively. He's at the back of the pack and he's got to come in for a drive through as well. Talk about a double whammy. But it's Kevsim leading from G-Sanks in second. You've got Sharkasuda ahead of Kangi, followed by Totally Zero K competing in the top 5. Titus is already up into 6th place from 11th on the grid. So that's an incredible first lap so far from him. Low 3000 running ahead of Caprigia, followed by Luke Van der Streets, and Alexi May competes in the top 10. Then you've got Fierce Mars, who's dropped a few places here, and by the looks of it, he's got a couple of drivers who are also struggling here. Yellow Army seem to be swerving out of the way as they're all in a bit of trouble right now. There's some tyres going flying there, coming through the Britain chicane, or not the Britain chicane, sorry, the Hislop chicane. And it looks like there's absolute carnage here on this opening lap. Titus in the house continuing to make his way through this pack very, very quickly here in this first race of the night. Oh, as he goes wide, and who was that in the foreground went wide as well through Druids? That was Totally Zero who got it horribly wrong there. So Totally Zero onto the grass, having an absolute nightmare here on this opening lap. But it's Kevsim from G-Sanks. You've got Sharkazulu there ahead of Kangi, and then a big gap back to everybody else. Totally Zero and Titus there must have had a collision going through Druids because they've all lost out. So Low 3000 is up into P5. He's got Luke Van der Streets hassling the back of him coming into Old Hall Corner. Then you've got Titus in 7th now ahead of Leximate, followed by Ludo. You've got PS Vids up into P10 ahead of Snoopy. Then you've got Caprigia, Fierce Mars, Raki there. He's making a move here on Yellow Army, but Yellow Army's actually trying to hold it around the outside of him coming through Old Hall Corner. Here we come back down to Cascade. You can see there in the background you've got Day who's trying to get involved in this as well. As there's contact there between Yellow Army and Raki, and where's Raki going to end up? He's on the grass, manages to keep it out of the wall, but he's going to have lost a few places here. He's dropped down to 17th here behind Totally Zero. So Raki there getting punted around a little bit, coming into the braking zone into Cascades, as he's now a little bit out of this one. As we've got Totally Zero saying, hi, hello, hello. Good evening now. Oh, no practice and no quali, says Raki. So he's jumping straight in without any real preparation here. As we can see, Low 3000 has got pressure here into the bridge again. And you can see there's Low 3000 there, spins out. He's lost it going into the corner. And there was contact there with one of the other drivers. I didn't actually see who it was, but we're seeing a lot of incidents here on the first lap. Low 3000 is going to drop a few places here. Where has he come out in all of this? In the meantime, we're going to have to watch this battle going on in front because you've got PS Vids side by side here with Snoopy, and PS Vids gets ahead of Snoopy up into what I think is P10, so no changes in position there for him. In the meantime, Titus has got ahead of Luke Van der Streets up into 5th place, so now he can continue his charge towards the front. But Kev Sim, G-Sanks and Sharkazulu here, the top 3 are separated by under a second right now. Kangi's not too far for these guys either, but Kev Sim here is leading from pole position, is doing everything he needs to do so far in this race. G-Sanks and Sharkazulu both keeping him very much honest here tonight. But Sharkazulu is running reasonably high in Tier 2 for the GT3 Championship here on a Sunday night. Obviously didn't have a great run at Hungary actually on Sunday, so he's trying to bounce back after a disappointing performance at the Hungaroring where he was the first driver to DNF in the Tier 2 race. So obviously you know, he usually does better than that, but I think Hungary might be a bit of a bogey track for him because he's been very strong at every other circuit that we've gone to so far this season, in both the sprint on a Wednesday and the main championship on a Sunday. But yeah, currently Sharkazulu here is keeping the top 2, Kevsim and G-Sank, honest at the moment, as PS Vids is eyeing up another victim here in the shape of, oh, he's going to Fierce Mars as he just gets it all wrong, and PS Vids there got a bit of snap of oversteer on the inside going through the island bend. Fierce Mars continues on his way. I think PS Vids has come out worse, has he? I'm not sure. No, Fierce Mars has come off quite badly as well, to be honest. Where is Fierce Mars in all of this? The cameraman's not picking him up, so we're just going to go to someone else for the time being. But wow, PS Fit and Fierce Mars, we were catching that. I just saw the time delta was about 13 thousandths of a second between them as they were going into the island bend. And well, what a disaster there for those guys. As you got Kangi there running in 4th place, 3 seconds behind the podium places. You got Tynus there ahead of Luke van der Streets. Sharkazuli's just on the fastest lap of the race, currently still in contention for the lead at the moment. But wow, chaos here in the opening couple of laps of this race as PS Vids has dropped behind Snoopy Day and Fierce Mars. He's losing more places here. Yellow Army, Yellow 3000 as I've also got ahead of PS Vids, so he is dropping down the field. He's absolutely tumbling. And the order is Kev Sim there getting it wrong, coming out of Old Hall and puts it in the wall. Kev Sim there getting it absolutely a nightmare, and he's going to lose out to G-Sank's Sharkazunu. Kangi moving through, so does Tynus as well. So Kev Sim down to P5. He was leading the race, he's not anymore. He's now got Luke van der Streets on the back of him here. So Kev Sim, oh, what is going on tonight? It seems like Oulton Park is proving to be a real stiff test for a lot of drivers here tonight, and we have seen absolute chaos here in the opening few laps of this race. For the first race of the night, obviously there's two sprint races here in the GT3 Sprint League here on a Wednesday night. But currently G-Sank's leading ahead of Sharkazuni. You can see these two separated by not very much in the top two positions. You've got Kangi there, who's just keeping Tynus about a second behind him at the moment. You've got Luke van der Streets 2.5 seconds behind us. Now got Kev Sim pressuring back of him, so Luke has actually got ahead of Kev Sim, with Kev Sim's damage on his car really affecting his performance at this point. Luda there running in 7th place, 8 seconds behind these guys. As you can see, Leximate has got Caprigia now closing up onto the back of him as they go through the Britain chicane. Also, Day has got Yellow Army not too far behind him as well, as Yellow Army gets it horribly wrong there in the exit of Britons, but keeping it okay at the moment. But Tynus in the house, looking to try and pile this pressure here on Kangi for his final podium place. And what a first few laps it's been from Tynus in the house. He's won every single race so far this season in this GT3 Sprint League. He's also won both races in the GT3 Championship on a Sunday as well. So Tynus in the house has won all 6 of his races so far in the PlayStation 5 GT3 leagues here at Motive. He's currently now trying to knock on the door of a podium place after starting down in P11 for this opening race of the night. As you see Kangi going a little bit wide there, coming out of Old Hall corner, down to Cascades we go. Tynus in house looking to the outside, gets a little bit onto the car. Oh, Tynus is round, and even the championship leader is making mistakes here tonight, and he's going to lose out to Luke van der Streets and Kev Sim as well, making his way through. And Tynus in the house was trying to make the move around the outside of Kangi, but he could not do it. There was just not the grip around the outside, and he got onto the grass, and unfortunately round she went. And Tynus in the house now down to P6 here in this race. What a night so far here at Oulton Park in the GT3 Sprint League at Motive. Wow, as G-Sanks and Sharkazulu still separate by just under a second. You can see Kangi there running in 3rd place has got well, he's now no longer got Kev Sim anywhere near him. Kev Sim is obviously behind Luke van der Streets. Luke van der Streets is 4 seconds behind Kangi at this point. But Caprigia here, what's going on in the background? Oh my god, Leximate's binned it coming out of the shallow hairpin. So he's now behind Caprigia and Day. And he's got Lowell 3000 now closing up onto the back of him as well. So Leximate struggling here as Yellow Army into the pits at the end of lap 4. And G-Sanks still leading the race by just under a second at the moment ahead of Sharkazulu. There's Kangi running in the final podium place. You've got Luke van der Streets a few seconds behind them. Tynus and Kev Sim still fighting it out over P5 and 6 at this point. But in fact, Tynus has actually pulled out the gap to Kev Sim here by a fair bit. You can see that that's now over a second between those two, well over a second. So Tynus already starting to reel in Luke van der Streets after that little mistake that we saw going through Cascades on the previous lap. He's already now within 2 seconds of Luke. And he had dropped back to about nearly 4 seconds behind him, so he's definitely recovering positions here, recovering lost time here. Is Tynus in the house, still not, I would say, out of a fight for a win here tonight in his first race of the night. 20 minutes left on the clock, and we know that Tynus is a proven winner here at Motive. He's won the first 4 races of this season, 2 races per night for the GT3 Sprint League. Obviously 2 rounds we've had, but he's won both races at both rounds so far this season, 4 out of 4, and currently running in P5 here in this first race here at Oulton Park. But Kangi's now got to watch out here as Tynus is reading him in here as they're coming through the Britain chicane. Can he get a good exit here down towards his stops? He might be able to suck him out of the corner, but no, for the time being, Tynus is not going to get that run coming down towards his stops. In the meantime, G-Sanks and Shark Azuli separated by just under a second. That gap looks like it's come down a little bit there, coming through the middle part of the lap, but we're going to stay with this battle here as Tynus is getting ever closer to the back here of Kangi as they're coming through Knickerbrook here for the 6th time in the race. You can see their loop down the streets in the foreground, just going through your shot, but Tynus in the house, definitely looking pretty racy here, but he needs to be careful because he needs to not be making the kind of mistakes that we saw a couple of laps ago going through Cascades. That'll be the last thing he needs. That will definitely be his way of saying goodbye to a win and possibly even a podium here. But he's currently within 1.5 seconds of a podium, so if he keeps it up right now, he'll definitely be on the podium here in his first race of the night. Down the start-finish straight we go. Not really a start-finish straight, it's more of a start-finish curve, but into Old Hall we go, and Tynus in the house, still just a little bit too far back. It's not an easy track to overtake here at Oulton Park, so he's really going to have to pick his moments here. He's going to have to look for the heavy braking zones. I'd say really your best opportunities. If your opponent gets a poor run out of Island Bend, you can go for a move into Shell Oil. Other than that, I'd say that his stops is probably your best opportunity to make a move, which is the corner after the Britain chicane. So the Britain chicane's an easy corner to make a mistake on. If you're always there, Kangi there gets it wrong going into Shell Oil, and through goes Tynus. But Tynus gets it wrong as well, does he? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Sorry, that was Kangi who was getting it wrong in the background there. So yeah, Kangi there losing out to Tynus. So Tynus is now on the back of Luke as well. So Tynus is not hanging about here as Luke Van der Streets is now going to have to watch his rear view mirrors here. Down towards his stops we go. This is the corner I was saying before is the best opportunity to make a move, but Tynus is not close enough at the moment. But what a race we've had so far. Kangi's now got somebody in the background there, Kevsim, reading him in. So Kevsim here looking to try and close in on our man currently running in P5 at the moment, Kangi. But Luke Van der Streets has got to watch out because he's got his fellow BMW driver here who's really looking to make hay after a difficult start to this race for sure. Let's say that about Tynus as we're coming down towards Lodge Corner here for the 7th time in the race. At the moment, Luke Van der Streets has got control, but Tynus is going to be sat there waiting like a silent assassin here, waiting for an opportunity to pounce. In the meantime, Lexi has got Diego close on the back of him. These guys battling it out over 10th and 11th places. Low 3000 Fierce Mars and PS Fits all in this train as well. So you've got 5 cars all the way down from 10th down to 14th place in a train here. In an intriguing battle right now. But G-Sanks and Shark Azuli are just under a second separating those two as they're coming through Shallow Hairpin for the 8th time in the race. Tynus in the house looking closer to the back of Luke Van der Streets, and he's done him there. So Tynus must have got the run coming out of Cascades because he's ahead of Luke as they were coming through Island End. So through he goes, and Tynus into the podium places. But he is 9 seconds off of the lead. He's 8 seconds off of our second place man, Shark Azuli. So it's going to be a long way back here for Tynus in the house. I don't think he'd be able to get the win, but he'd certainly be able to consolidate his podium position right now. Who knows, if G-Sanks and Shark Azuli start battling hard, then he could maybe be in with a shout of this race victory here come the end of this race. But it's going to take a hell of a job here for Tynus in the house. I'd have to say he'd be a dead cert for driver of the day if he were to well, I think he's a dead cert for driver of the day anyway at the moment, starting in P11, currently running in 3rd place, but it'll be a driver of the season, I think, if he's able to go from 11th to 1st around a track like Oulton Park, which you know is known for not being easy to overtake, as G-Sanks there getting it really wrong coming out of Lodge Corner. But he's just still got the march here on Shark Azuli for the time being as they come into Old Hall Corner for the 9th time in this race. You've got Kangi still on the back of Luke Van der Streets as they're coming down the start-finish straight. But Luke's just got enough of it on him at the moment as they come into Old Hall Corner. Low 3000 still close on the back of Lexi. You can see those two battling out over P11 and 12 at this point. But Low 3000 just seems to be a little bit too far off of him. They've gapped Low. In fact, actually, Leximate's closer now to the back of Day than Low 3000 is to Leximate. But Fierce Mars has got PS Vids still pressuring him. PS Vids has been sat in P14 now for quite a few laps. He's just been waiting patiently at the moment, but no opportunities have really fallen his way in the last couple of laps. As Low 3000 here has got a run on Leximate down the start finish straight and manages to get him easily there. Leximate got a horrible run coming out of Lodge Corner, and yeah, that's Low 3000 into 11th place. He can now try and chase Day and he can now try and chase down day just in front of him is that is Fierce Mars there, who's now ahead of Leximate as well. So Fierce Mars there making his way through up into P12 here in this race, and PS Vids is now on the back of Leximate. So Leximate doesn't want to lose 3 places in one lap here, as PS Vids is looking closer and closer to the back of him here into shallow hairpin. He's going to go for the move here as PS Vids, and he commits it. Beautifully done there from PS Vids up into P13. Leximate here has now lost 3 places in the space of a lap, and we're only halfway round the lap. So Leximate here not having a good one. Oh, it's Lol 3000. I saw him in the foreground there, riding over the grass there, coming on the exit of Britain's, but he's far enough ahead of Fierce Mars to be out of threat going into Hislop. Yeah, you can see there Day has got his train of cars behind him. He's trying to pull away if he can. Low 3000 now having to defend from Fierce Mars coming through Knickerbrook. Oh, when he gets it a bit wide there, and Fierce Mars is going to say thank you very much, and so is PS Vids. And unfortunately for Low 3000, he loses 2 places there in a corner. So Low 3000 and Leximate losing places, and Fierce Mars and PS Vids gaining them left, right and centre as PS Vids there making his way through. Fierce Mars wide there going through Druids. Oh, he's wide, he's into the wall, getting with the brakes on. Good man, well done Fierce Mars. I tell you what, he lost the car and unlucky there, but fair play, good conscientious driving, and that is what you want to see when somebody loses it. I want to just use this as an example, and sorry Fierce Mars, I don't want to I don't want to draw attention to you when you just made a mistake, but actually I want to say hats off to you, because that was exactly how you should drive. When you've lost control of the car and you're on the grass and your car is careering back onto the track, that is exactly what everybody should be doing. He put the brakes on, he kept it out of the way, he made sure he didn't screw anyone else over, and yeah, good job there from Fierce Mars, limiting the damage to any potential parties that could have been dragged into that unnecessarily. But right now G-Sanks here just under 2 seconds out of Sharka Zulu as they're coming into the lodge corner here for the 10th time. They've got a few seconds back to Tinus in the house, who's running in the final podium place at the moment, but he is reeling them in over the last few laps. Kangi there running in 4th, he's about a second ahead of Luke van der Streets at the moment. There's Kevsim, who's running in 6th place. He's got a bit of a gap back to Ludo, who's running in 7th. He's got plenty of time back to Capriglia running in 8th place, who's in turn actually no, Capriglia looks like he's closer now to the back of Ludo than he was, so that's only a second and a half actually between those two. Capriglia pulling away from Diego's well clear of Day running in P10, but PS Vids, I'll tell you what, is definitely gaining on Day 666 at the moment. You can see there the gap is well under a second here between these two, and PS Vids will be looking to try and pile this pressure on as soon as he possibly can, as Totally Zero and Yellow Army both in the pits here at the end of lap 10. And PS Vids are looking to try and knock on the door here of a top 10 spot as they're coming over the line here to complete lap 10 of the race. I see there Ludo running just ahead of Capriglia at the moment as they're going through Cascades here. But an interesting race here tonight so far. Automotive here at Oulton Park for the GT3 Sprint League on a Wednesday night on the PlayStation 5. And currently we've still got G-Sanks leading the race. He started to pull away a little bit from Sharka Zulu in the last couple of laps. It's now a second and a half. They were pretty much tied at the hip in the first few laps, but G-Sanks now has just found an extra gear. Tinus in house running in 3rd place is gaining on these two, but I said earlier on I think that it would take a monumental effort for Tinus if he is to get even in 2nd, but I think the win is nigh on impossible for him. Luke van der Streets is on the back of Kangi here as these guys coming into Lodge Corner. You can see there just about a second between those two at the moment, as Lol 3000 is closing up onto the back of Day. I think Day might have had a mistake there coming through the last lap or two, because you can see here Lol 3000 closer and closer to the back of him here, coming into his slops. Closer and closer as we go, as he goes a bit deep there, this Lol 3000, and no dice there for him so far. Alexi just watching this unfold in the background. Can he try and get involved in this potential scrap here between these guys? As Sharka Zulu's just gained a little bit of time here on G-Sanks over the course of the first sector here. You can see it's down to 1.2. It was a second and a half a few moments ago, so Sharka Zulu's just made some small little gains here. But G-Sanks still with the ascendancy out the front here in this race. Tinus in the house, I tell you what, he's now only 5 seconds behind the race leader G-Sanks, so he is absolutely getting it down at the moment in that number 13, the race winner from the first 4 races of this season so far. Can he make it 5 out of 5 from 11th on the grid in this race? What a performance that would be if he can do that. I don't think he's going to be able to, but if he can, then he's an absolute alien I'll tell you what, the gap is now down to 4.6. So the race leader G-Sanks, and Fierce Miles is in the pits. So Fierce Miles with damage there on the front of that Audi, so he's now bringing it into the box to get that fixed right about now. Low 3000 in the meantime has got Leximate on the back of him as they're going through Sherlock hairpin. But currently it's G-Sanks leading by just over a second ahead of Shaka Zulu. At the moment you've got Tynus in the house who's currently 4.7 off the leader G-Sanks. So G-Sanks pulled away from Tynus by about a tenth coming through that final sector, but Tynus seems incredibly quick through the first and second sectors. The final sector not so much, but definitely through this part of the track he does seem to be gaining huge amounts here on the top two, as we just see he's now gained 4/10 through the first sector there on G-Sanks. He's got the gap down to 3.5 seconds to Chaka Zulu. So yeah, Tynus in the house definitely a man on the move at this point. But G-Sanks has got Shaka Zulu closing him in. Oh, Shaka Zulu getting a big slide there as they went through in towards Britain's, and that would have just cost him a few tenths of a second here. And that's not what he needs at all, with Tynus in the house actually looming large here in the background. But G-Sanks still just ahead of Shaka Zulu. You can see there Tynus getting closer and closer and closer as he has been. He's been lurking in the background for the last few laps, as you've got low 3000 there, who's managed to make the move on Ludo. So Ludo's lost out to low 3000, as in the background there somebody losing the car, but I don't know who it was. I've got no idea who it was. Sorry. But currently G-Sanks just over a second ahead of Shaka Zulu as they're coming out of Lodge Corner here, about to start lap 14 of the race. See how far Tynus is behind the leaders. The gap to Tynus is 3.9, so on that last lap alone Tynus gained 0.8 of a second. If we have, let's say we got 6 or 7 more laps to go, Tynus is going to be easily on the back of these guys before the end of the race, so they need to pick up the pace here. G-Sanks and Shaka Zulu need to pick up the pace, because this man here is going to be right on them come the end of this race. Oh, Shaka Zulu there gets it all over the curb there, going through Britain's. Bit of a moment there for him. Loses a little bit of time here to G-Sanks, who's now just over a second ahead of him at the moment. There's Tynus running in third place. About 3.5 seconds off of the race leader G-Sanks at this point. Got 10 of you currently watching the stream. Guys, if you're enjoying, please do smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got 20 saying track's more bumpy than I remember. Lazy Camel there in the comments says, evening guys, good luck. Thank you, Lazy Camel. Yeah, good to see you watching. Hopefully get you on track at some point. I know you've got PS5 now, so you're welcome to jump in anytime you like. Got a good turnout here tonight as well, up to 19 for the midweek league. Last couple of weeks we've been sort of like around between the 16 and the 18 mark. We've got nearly 20 drivers in this week. Be cool if we can get 20 for the second race. I don't know if anybody's planning on jumping in for the second race, but yeah, for sure, if you are, obviously as long as you've got an SA rating of 60 or over, you can get yourself in for the second race, and provided you're on the Discord as well, obviously. But I tell you what, Tynus in the house is closer and closer to the front two here. You can see he's only 2.6 seconds off of the lead. He's gaining about a second a lap on these two. It is a second a lap enough around a track like Oulton Park, where it's so hard to overtake. All that G-Sanks and Sharks need to do is basically not make a mistake, and they should be able to hold on ahead of Tynus. But easier said than done when you've got a driver of Tynus's calibre on the back of you. Tynus, let's not forget, started this race from 11th on the grid, and he's made his way up into third place, and that was with a mistake as well when he was getting ahead of Luke van der Streets in the sort of no, it was Kangi who's making the move on in the early stages, got wide on into Cascades and basically lost another 5 seconds. So he went from 11th to 5th, no, 11th to 4th, then back to 6th, and then has worked his way back up into 3rd on the back of the leaders here. What a stellar driver it's been from Tynus. As I said, it's been averaging about a second a lap quicker than these guys. And currently now finds himself on the back of Shaka Zulu here as we're about to complete lap 15 of the race. Now G-Sanks has got to use Shaka Zulu and Tynus battling to his advantage here. He knows that Shaka Zulu could potentially hold Tynus up a little bit, so G-Sanks needs to now get away while he can. Lazy Cowboy says that the PS5 has been stolen by his little one, or not his little one, his kid, not his little one. I don't know. I imagine it's not a little one. He can play Harry Potter, but what's that? Hogwarts Legacy, I imagine. Yeah, no, that's well, it was the talk of the town about a month ago. It still kind of is, but yeah, G-Sanks here has actually not really gained on Shaka Zulu that much in the last sort of sector or so, despite Shaka Zulu coming under pressure from Tynus in the house, and that's why, because G-Sanks is napping some traffic here. So that is Noel 3000 there, who now gets out of the way, but he has held up the leader quite considerably, and the gap between G-Sanks and Shaka Zulu now under a second. Tynus coming with these guys here as we come into his stops for the 16th time in a race. Question is, are we going to have 3 or are we going to have 2 or 3 more laps? I think, no, 3 more laps. I think we're going to have 3 more laps here in this race. It's a case of 3 or 4. I reckon it's going to be 3, because I think we're going to cross the line. It's about a minute and a half a lap around here. Yeah, so it's going to be 3 laps left here in this race from where we're at right now. But here we come out of Lodge Corner. G-Sanks, Shaka Zulu and Tynus separated by just about a second at this point. You've got Kangi there running in 4th place. A bit of a gap back to Luke Van der Streets. As they all come out of Old Hall down to Cascades once again here. Fierce Mars, Totally Zero and Yellow Army all in the pits here. So they've all retired the cars by the looks of it, but here are the 3 leaders once again coming through into the Island Bend, and you can see they're absolutely 3 in a line here. This is well and truly a battle on for this race victory here. So here we come out of Britain's here. You can see Shaka Zulu's got a bit of a run here on G-Sanks coming down towards his stops. Looking to the outside here as G-Sanks defending the inside line. Shaka Zulu trying to go around the outside here as he has to tuck in for the time being. Gets a bit onto the grass there to Shaka Zulu. As we now coming through Knickerbrook here. Gets onto the curb a little bit aggressively does Shaka Zulu. Tynus there going wide coming out of Knickerbrook. Here we come into the final sector of the lap we go. G-Sanks, Shaka Zulu and Tynus in the house. It's 3 for the lead here with just over 2 laps left to go here in this race for the first race of the night for the GT3 Sprint League. This is race 5 of a 16 race season. Obviously 8 rounds, 2 races per round each week. And currently Shaka Zulu getting closer. Tynus in the house with a bit of a mistake earlier in the lap has just dropped him off of these guys ever so slightly, but we know he's got the pace over these two. He's been reeling him in over the last few laps. Totally Zero in the comments says, I wouldn't want Tynus behind me. That pressure is intense. It definitely is. G-Sanks and Shaka Zulu have got to be on their toes here, but G-Sanks is just keeping the pressure. He's keeping the pressure off of his shoulders at the moment. Here with Shaka Zulu, he's been on the back of him for so long. Tynus in the house still hasn't been able to really force the issue here with these two as we're coming down towards the Island Bend once again. You can see a bit of traffic there in the foreground. Who is that? That is it's Day. It's a Day there just going through Shell Oil, and you can see there are the leaders just going through now, so they probably will catch up to him before the end of this race. As G-Sanks a little bit of a slide there on the exit, but here we come through Britain's now. There they all are. You can see they're all tagging that curve on the inside, just trying to get the car rotated. It does help with getting the car turned in, just clipping that curve, but too much and it can send you off into the bollard. But here we come into his stops once again. Shaka Zulu and Tynus still right on the back of G-Sanks as Tynus just riding over the grass a little bit there. But G-Sanks seems to have the answer through the parts of the track where Shaka Zulu could potentially put that pressure on. G-Sanks seems to have the answer. All of the parts where the track where you can make overtakes, G-Sanks seems to just have enough. Tynus in the house is getting closer and closer to the back of Shark Zulu here. He needs to make a move now, you feel, if he is to be able to have a chance of chasing after G-Sanks. And he's looking to the outside here is Tynus as Shark Zulu defends the inside, going into Lodge corner. Can he get a bit of a cut back here? Shark Zulu gets it slid there, going through the exit of the corner. Now Tynus is going to get the cut back here, coming down the start finish straight. He's got a little bit of his car alongside here, looking to the inside. He's got a little bit there. Oh, Shark Zulu cuts him off there into Old corner. Bit of a naughty move there from Shark Zulu, goes wide there, and Tynus in the house moves through up into second place. But has he got enough time to chase after G-Sanks here as we're on the final lap of the race? But Shark Zulu there was a little bit aggressive. Tynus makes his way through nonetheless. As we come out of Cascades here, you can see G-Sanks is just coming up on some traffic here, which is day 666. We already said that about this time a lap ago when he appeared on our radars here. But G-Sanks here coming through shallow hairpin. There's Tynus. He's nearly 2 seconds behind. I don't think Tynus is going to get anywhere near G-Sanks on his final lap. He just needs to keep cool, navigate his back marker day, and not make any mistakes here in the final part of this race. And G-Sanks will take his first win of the season and will be the first driver to deny Tynus of taking a win. Tynus has taken every race win so far this season. Obviously he took the double in the first round of the season at Kyle Army, followed that up with another double last week in the second round of the season at Paul Ricard. And here at Oulton Park tonight, he looks like he is going to hold off Shark Zulu for second, but he's going to miss out on the win here is Tynus in the house. But Tynus, you've got to give him credit because he started in 11th place on the grid for this first race of the night. What a performance. And he's only just going to miss out on a race win. But G-Sanks has pretty much led this one since the get-go. He's soaked up all the pressure here from Shark Zulu as he comes through Lodge corner here for the final time in race one. Up towards the line, it's going to be G-Sanks here to take the checkered flag. It's the race victory for the Lexus as Tynus in the house comes over in second place. Shark Zulu completing the podium, but G-Sanks, fair play to him because the Lexus is not a good car around this track, but he's made it work to perfection. Kangi coming out of Lodge corner, it's going to be a P4 for him as he comes over the line a couple of seconds ahead of Luke van der Street, who comes over to take P5 as they are a long way ahead of Kev Sim, who's running in 6th, but he's got a bit of pressure here from a back marker who's trying to unlap itself here, as I believe that's Max Power, who's, we know he's got pace, so obviously probably thinks that he's got the pace to overtake Kev Sim here as he's looking to the outside into Lodge. And Max Power, can he get a cut back here out the final corner? No, he can't. So Kev Sim here holding on in that battle. Obviously Max Power a lap down there in P15, but Kev Sim there P6. Max Power comes over to take 15th. Lowell 3000 and Raki have both finished the race a lap down in 13th and 14th places. Snoopy's in the pits, he's finished the race already. Diego will come over to take 7th place here in the end. A few seconds clear of PS Fit, who's going to come over to take 8th. And then you've got Capriga, who is a very long way behind in 9th place. Leximate, who's a long way behind in 9th place. Capriga behind Day now, so I think Capriga has dropped it here on the final lap because he's now dropped a couple of places. But Leximate into Lodge corner. 9th place here for Leximate. Not a bad haul of points there for him. As here he comes up towards the line. So that's Leximate P9. Day comes over to complete the top 10. Capriga over in 11th as he comes over the line now. And last driver to finish will be Ludo, who is just coming out of, or coming through Lodge corner. Get a bit wide there on the exit. Whoa, close, hold on to it. Up towards the line he comes. So Ludo will be the last driver to finish there in P12. Fierce Mars, Totally 0K and Yellow Army all retired from the race a few laps from the end and will score nil points for their troubles in this first race of the night. But that is that then, guys. Stay tuned, we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so for the second race. We'll stay on the stream, but I'm just going to take a quick break, grab a drink and stuff, and yeah, we'll be back on very soon. Also, big shout out to the guys in the comments, the Totally 0K saying bumpy track made my Lambo a trampoline. It's not what you want, mate. You want to raise the ride height a little bit. Lazy Camel says very bumpy track, totally, but rewarding. Obviously, if you get it right, that is. Totally Zero says the track is very good, but the Lambo disagrees. Guido Zanetti in the comments saying G-Sanks. I have a funny feeling that G-Sanks might be Guido Zanetti. So if that is you, G-Sanks, well done, mate. Congrats on the win. Great drive. Lazy Camel, congrats. And also assuming that that is G-Sanks. And Chris there says well done, Raki. But yeah, guys, we'll be back very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back, everybody. We're here for the second qualifying session, the one shot here at Motive that we have for the GT3 Sprint League here on the PS5 on a Wednesday night. We had an absolutely fantastic race a few moments ago to kick off the night. We saw Tynes House go from 11th on the grid up into second place. What a performance there from him. We also saw G Sanks there taking his first win of the season, actually becoming the first driver to deny Tynes of a race win. Obviously we've seen Tynes take 4 wins out of 4 so far this season, but G Sanks becoming the only non-Tynes to win a race so far. But with a qualifying session here to get his teeth stuck into, are we going to be seeing Tynes starting down the grid again, or is he going to sort that out this time and get himself a good grid position? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But we're currently watching Tynes right now coming into Britain's here, as he seems to be very tidy so far. A bit onto the grass there on the exit, but we've seen him take 4 poles so far this season, and obviously the first race tonight must have been a mistake, an uncharacteristic mistake, because I mean, he did get a lap in. That was the really confusing part. You know, he got a lap in P11, but it just was not, you know, the sort of standard that you expect from Tynes. But here he's coming nonetheless into the final sector of this lap that he's currently on. Also our championship leader for the GT3 championship on a Sunday for the tier 1. Obviously on Sunday we've got a few more people racing, so we've got 2 tiers for that one. But here comes Tynes out of the final corner and up towards the line. What is this going to be for our championship leader here? It's a 33.9. That's on cold tyres, let's not forget. What about G Sanks? What's he up to? He's coming over and it's a 35.4, so nowhere near. Tynes well clear at the top of the leaderboard here. Max Power goes into 3rd place. Kev Sim goes P3, moves ahead of Max Power. You've got PS Vids who puts it P4. But Tynes looking like he's in another league here tonight. What a lap that was. Has anybody got anything to offer Tynes here? Doesn't look like it so far. Sharka Zulu in the pits, so he's bailed out of that lap that he was on. Obviously wasn't something worth writing home about, but Max Power's gone P6. Well, oh, Luke van der Streets has gone up into 2nd place. Wow, look at that, Luke van der Streets there, putting a lap out of nowhere, putting it on the front row of the grid, so great lap there from him, albeit a second adrift of our pulse here to Tynes. Tony Zero is the last driver on a lap here, so he waited a little while before starting his lap. What is it going to be for him as he's coming out of Lodge Corner? Driving in the McLaren here is Totally Zero K, which he's always in. Here he comes up towards the line and he goes P8, so it's an okay there, okay lap there from Totally Zero K, from Totally Zero K, or okay. Well, he's talked Totally Zero K on Discord and Totally Okay on PlayStation, so yeah, I don't really know. But nonetheless, Tynes in the house there taking pole ahead of Luke van der Streets, who will line up alongside him on the front row. You've got G Sanks in 3rd ahead of Kev, followed by PS Vids in 5th ahead of Max Power, then Snoopy in 7th ahead of Totally Zero. You've got Diego in 9th ahead of Caprigia, followed by Lol 3000 in 11th place, Raki in 12th, with Yellow Army in 13th, followed by Leximate 14th, then you've got Shark Suda in P15, Ludo 16th ahead of Day 666 in 17th, Kangi rounding out the grid in 18th place. I know that Robe was hoping to get back in time for the second race, but I think he's just going to miss out by the looks of it, unless he's already got a setup saved for this track and is able to get in the next minute. But that's a shame there, obviously, that we won't be able to see him out on track. But Raki in the comments saying quick races again, impressive. Definitely is Raki. These guys are no slouch. I know obviously I know you're used to the PC physics at the moment, so it might be a little bit of a tricky one, but to be fair, I mean, I'd say the pace on a PS5 now is really stepping up. I mean, when we first started the GT3 Championship and we started running 2 tiers, that's when I noticed that the standard was being raised, the bar was definitely being lifted. And yeah, the last couple of seasons we've seen a lot of people really pushing limits and finding new opportunities here. So yeah, lots of drivers are sort of getting closer to their potential and really are finding the limits, finding some more little setup tricks and tips to use, and definitely getting the maximum out of their cars and finding cars that suited to their driving style as well, because it can definitely be about finding a car that suits you. I know that some people prefer a car that's more planted, that's quick in the corners, that's got more downforce, like the Porsche or the McLaren, whereas the cars like the BMW, the Lexus are quick in a straight line. Bentley's kind of a sort of in the middle of both, really. Although traditionally you always think the Bentley's quick in a straight, but not always the case actually. But yeah, the BMWs do seem to be a very, very popular choice this season. Tynerson, Luke Van der Streets, it's a BMW front row, Kev Sim, Max Power, Snoopy. So 5 of the top 7 drivers here, all BMWs, so it just goes to show really how much of a popular option they are. But here we are anyway, guys, we're just getting ready to go for the formation lap. Please do drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to get involved, if you're watching for the first time, check out the link at the top of the page. On the top of the stream you can see www.motiveracing.com. You can join the leagues, you can become part of the PS5 leagues that we've got. We've got obviously the Sprint League here on a Wednesday, and we've also got 2 tiers for our Sunday division, which is the main championship, which is 1 hour races with mandatory pit stops, which is unlike this one, which is sprint races with no mandatory pit stops. And obviously you've got 2 of them here on a Wednesday, whereas on a Sunday you've got one hour race with a mandatory pit. The Wednesday's really a bit of fun. It's just an arrive and drive kind of thing. The Sunday championships are a bit more serious. People do a lot of practice for them. This league, at least from how I'm intending for it, is supposed to be just a little bit of fun, just to kind of relax and unwind from our stressful weekly lives. But we've got Robert there in the comments, they're saying BM op. Yeah, defo. We've got Lazy Cow in the comments saying, hey Raki, good luck guys. Voicing support there for our man who'll be starting this one in P12, Raki Majay, driving in his customary 213 in the McLaren tonight, as he has been actually recently, to be fair. He's been seen in the McLaren many times in the last sort of the last sort of weeks really that he's been running in the league. I think we saw him in the Porsche as well at one point, but yeah, it's usually either the Porsche or the McLaren or the BMW as well. He does like to drive in a BMW. I've seen Raki in that a few times, but yeah, it really depends. But yeah, nonetheless, we are coming towards the end of the formation lap here at Motive for the GT3 Sprint League here, the second race of the night, the final race of the evening here. Tynerson House starting on pole. Can anybody deny him from running off into the distance here? We saw him come second in the first race of the night from 11th on the grid, so I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop him from leading from the front. But I'd love to be proven wrong here. We've got 15 people currently watching here on the stream. We've got Auto Butcher. Wow, there's a throwback. Welcome back. He's the dad of Cheese Monkey, who hasn't raced in this league for at least 2 years, I think. But welcome back to you. No, about 1 year, about a year and a bit actually. Probably not 2 years, probably over a year though, I would say. But yeah, welcome back, Auto Butcher. Good to see you. Yeah, Tynerson will take some catching, I think. That's definitely a guarantee. Yeah, there's something of an inevitability about the race winner here in this second race. But here we come anyway, up towards the line, and we're going to be green once we're over it. And there we go, we're racing now down towards Old Hall Corner. As you can see there, Diego's got a drive-through penalty for being a bit too far forward on his position as we're coming through Old Hall. Now you can see there Luke Van der Street's a little bit wide, and G-Sanks is going to get a run here coming down towards Cascades. The race 1 winner here is going to move himself through up into P2 early on here. Round the outside he goes. Luke Van der Street's can do nothing about it there. G-Sanks moves himself through up into second place. You've got Kev Sim there just behind them, ahead of PS Fids, but you can see that Tynerson is already clearing away here in the lead of the race as G-Sanks gets that move completed there around the outside of Luke Van der Street's going through the island bend. end, as you can see them all going through shell oil here for the first time. Diego obviously with that drive-through penalty, he'll have to come in the first 3 laps of this race, but very clean start by the looks of it. No dramas here so far. Raki's made his way through up into 11th place here ahead of Low 3000, but yeah, very clean opening first few corners here at Oulton Park. You see somebody straight on there over the chicane through Britain's. Who was that? I don't know who it was, to be fair. I think it might have been, was it Clegg? I don't know. It looked like a 280 that I saw. I don't know if I was imagining that, but currently you've still got Tyson House leading the race by just over a second right now ahead of G Sanks. As you also got Archie in the comments saying good luck guys, I'm always keeping up with the channel, still great racing here, says Auto Butcher. Yeah, you can always bank on it, you can always generally assume that the guys here on ACC at Motive will be putting on a good show. So far we've seen some really good racing in the first 3 rounds of this season for the Sprint League. You can see there that Luke Van der Street's going a little bit deep there through Lodge Corner. Has just lost a bit of time here to G Sanks as we're coming over the start-finish line here to complete lap 1. But yeah, very, very, very solid first lap from everybody. Oh, as I say that, I spoke too soon, didn't I? As Day 666 and Low 3000 coming together, coming out of Lodge Corner, and you can see there that Low 3000 I think is not going to be moving anywhere fast very quickly here. And Day moving through up into 17th place, but he's lost a load of time to everybody else here as well. And I don't think that Low 3000 is going to be anywhere figuring in this race. I don't know if he's going to be retiring the car. It looked like he might be shaping up for a retirement there. But in the meantime, we're going to go back to the battle for P2 here, because G Sanks, Luke Van der Streets and Kev Sim are currently having quite an intriguing battle. They've got PS Vids not too far behind them as well. Snoopy's got pressure here from Max Power as they're coming into Britain's here for the second time in this race. Oh, was it my studio mic, so you can hear a really, really awful sound. And there you go, it should be back on to the proper sounding studio mic here. Back to how I actually sound in real life, as opposed to those tacky headphones that I used for so long and people never even knew it was me, as Max Power makes the move up into P6 there ahead of Snoopy. But those tacky headphones that I used for so long on the comms, and people who knew me in real life, I'd show them the streams and they'd say, that's not you talking, and I'd be like, yeah, I promise you it is. And people who obviously knew me over this game probably had no idea how I really sounded. But after all these years of hearing this commentator speak in a high-pitched sort of kid-like tone, now you realise that that's not actually the guy at all. But right now you can see that Shaka Zulu's pressuring the back of Capriga going into Lodge Corner. This is the battle for 9th place here, but Shaka Zulu just a little bit too far back on Capriga as they come out of the last corner out into the start finish straight once again. Tyner's still leading by 3 seconds here at G Sanks. You've got Luke at Kevston. There's PS Fitz, who's now behind Max Power, so Max Power's moved his way through up into 6th place. You can see Snoopy there in the background running in P7. It's got a couple of seconds back to Totally Zero, who's got Capriga and Shokazulu side by side here going down towards Cascades. Shokazulu trying to go around the outside there, but Capriga covering the inside line off very nicely there as they come through down Lakeside towards the Island Bend. And Capriga there defending the inside line. Shokazulu's going to have to go around the long way. Can he go for a cutback here? Bit of a slide there from Shokazulu as through shell oil they come. And Capriga staying ahead of Shokazulu for the time being. As Diego in the pits for a drive through here. Kangi is trying to attack on the back of Raki here. Raki obviously driving as a late standing reserve tonight, gaining in confidence more and more as this goes on. He was a very late standing reserve. When I say late standing, I mean literally last minute. But we've got Shaka Zulu here trying to make a move here on Capriga, looking to the inside into Hislops. Is he going to be able to make it happen there as we see Capriga a little bit deep there going through the corner? Shaka Zulu up the inside for Knickerbrook. They're still side by side, and Shaka Zulu is sure he's going to get this one done. Yes, he does. He moves his way through up into P9. Excellent move there from Shaka Zulu. As PS Vids has lost out to Snoopy here, so Snoopy up into P6 in this race. So didn't see what happened there to PS Vids, but he's lost a place there. As Capriga has got Raki now trying to knock him while he's down, as he's weaving all over the place a little bit there with Capriga. Now Raki's going to look to try and switch to the inside there. He's coming down towards Lodge. You can see there Kangi also trying to attack on Raki as well, as Capriga goes a little bit deep there coming through Lodge, but gets it turned in, gets a reasonable enough exit there coming out onto the start finish straight nonetheless. And holds it all good for the time being. Tynus in the house is still your leader by 4.5 seconds right now. Luke Van der Streets is trying to keep this pressure here on G Sanks as they're coming down towards Island. In fact, what's happened here to G Sanks? No, he's behind Max Power, so G Sanks has lost out here to Max Power. He must have made a mistake here, so the race 1 winner has dropped behind Luke Van der Streets and Max Power here. Kev Sim a couple of seconds ahead of Luke van der Streets, but G-Sanks there running in P5, so he's had a bit of an incident here which has dropped him down the order, and that will be frustrating here for G-Sanks. Not the situation he would have been hoping for, I'm sure. As we go back to battle here for P10, you've still got Capriglia just ahead of Raki, with Kangi and Ludo in hot pursuit right now, as well as they're coming towards Britons. You can see in the foreground there, Sharks are getting a bit wrong, they're coming through Britons, but keeping it on the track and not really losing any time as a result. But Capriglia trying to gap Raki, Kangi and Ludo a little bit here, coming down towards his stops. You can see Kangi looking all over the back of Raki, but too far back coming into his stops for the time being. And Raki seems to have the measure of Kangi at the moment here in the early stages of this second race of the night, the final race of the evening here at Oulton Park. Currently we'd go back to the battle here for 4th place, because you can see G-Sanks looking to the inside here on Max Power into Lodge Corner, but Max Power is just enough there to hold on ahead of G-Sanks at the moment. But they're coming over the line here to complete lap 4 of the race, and this is really battle on there between these guys. Tynus in the meantime, we've barely spoken about him in these first 2 laps because he is absolutely shot off into the distance. He's lapping nearly 2 seconds a lap quicker than everybody else. What a performance it has been from him in this second race. Obviously he went from 11th to 2nd in the first race, and in this second race he has just said, sorry guys, I'm off, see you later, goodbye, see you later, and it's just completely and utterly obliterating all of these guys. As we see Snoopy here battling with PS Fids going into Shell Oil Hairpin. PS Fids making a move down the inside there. Snoopy has to tuck in for the time being. Totally zero on the back of these guys right now as they're coming down towards Britons. But PS Fids there moving his way through up into P6. Nicely done there from here as we're coming out down towards his stops once again. You can see Snoopy just ahead of Totally Zero. Sharkazulu's reeling these guys in here in the background, looking to try and bring himself into this fight for P6, which is still being led by PS Fids at the moment. Max Power is really close on Luke van der Streets as they're coming into the final sector here on lap 5. You can see there that Luke van der Streets has just got the edge, but Max Power is getting closer and closer here as we come down towards Lodge Corner. He's looking to the inside there. Here's Max Power. Is he going to be able to send one? No, he's not. Not for now, at least, anyway. Has to wait for his opportunity here as we come over the start finish line. But Tynus leads by just under 9 seconds right now ahead of Kevsim. There's Luke, there's Max, there's G-Sanks. PS Fids still with Snoopy quite close as Sharka Zulu's now ahead of Totally Zero. So Sharka Zulu's made that move there on Totally Zero, going to the final sector there. Up into 8th place he goes in that Audi. He's now going to chase down PS Fids and Snoopy. But Luke van der Streets there still running in 3rd place. He's just ahead of Max Power as they're going through Britons. You can see them all rattling over that curve there. It's fascinating to see how much they are taking advantage of that curve. They're being quite brave. You need to have a good suspension for that to not be a major problem. But Luke van der Streets sat in the final podium spot there, going a bit wide there out of Knickerbrook. He's trying to get underneath Luke van der Streets here, but all the time while Max Power sits behind Luke van der Streets, he's coming under more pressure here from G-Sanks. See, we come out of Druids down towards Lodge once again. Max Power there just ahead of G-Sanks for the time being. Sharkazulu still pressuring the back of Snoopy here into Lodge Corner. There we go, there's Kev Sim running in 2nd place. He's got just over a second right now to Luke van der Streets. So these two, Luke van der Streets and Max Power, and G-Sanks to be fair as well, definitely not falling off the back of Kev Sim. You can see this could be a 4-way battle for 2nd place very shortly in this one. PS Fit is gapping Snoopy. He's got them in by a fair bit there, 2 seconds ahead now. Sharkazoo still trying to force Snoopy into a mistake, and Capriggi's in the pits, so Capriggi must have got damage here. He's coming at the end of lap 6, so an unscheduled pit stop obviously, because there are no mandatory pit stops here for the Sprint League, so that's not gone well really for Capriggi at all. And that'll be a frustrating situation right now for him. But Sharkazoo still on the back of Snoopy as they're coming through into the final sector. But Sharkazoo nowhere near close enough to make a move into Lodge Corner for the time being. As Luke Van der Streets and Max Power very close here. Max Power has got Luke almost underneath him here into Old Hall Corner. As Max Power goes a little bit deep into turn 1, but perfectly fine. Luke Van der Streets can't get a cut back at the moment. He's looking to the inside here into Cascades, trying to distract Max Power in the mirrors a little bit here. And Max Power looks like he's managed to complete that move into third. As I say that, he's wide there coming out of Cascades. And Luke might have a run here coming down towards the island bend. They're side by side here, Lakeside. And there we go. Luke Van der Streets moves himself back through into third place. And Max Power's going to have to do it all over again here. So he had to wait for his opportunity. Made it happen. But now tucks in for the time being. Luke Van der Streets into the final podium place. These guys now a couple of seconds behind Kevsim. But nobody anywhere near on the same level as Tinus in the house so far tonight. He's over 12 seconds ahead. We're only on lap 8 of this race. He's completely obliterated everybody here in this one. As things stand in this race, if he is to keep up this sort of pace, he'd win the race by over 20 seconds. It's been absolutely unbelievable. Way more than 20 seconds. Be something like, it would be over 30 seconds he'd win the race by if he keeps up this pace at the moment. Absolutely incredible. He's in the background, Luke Van der Streets and Max Power side by side. Max Power's going to make the move here into Lodge Corner. And Luke Van der Streets couldn't do anything about it there, so Max Power finally gets it done, but is he going to hold on this time? G-Sank's now attacking on the back of Luke as they're coming down the start-finish straight. Looking to the inside, trying to distract him a little bit, but he's nowhere near close enough. Luke's not going to be pressured by that one. Down to Cascades we go. Luke actually closer to the back of Max Power than G-Sanks is to him. Through Cascades we go. What has Luke got to offer? Max Power. Max Power I think should have the pace to pull away now, but Luke's been really quick here tonight around Oulton Park, to be fair. I've been very impressed with his performance. He's in his battle of merit. Oh, as I say that, and I was just talking him up, and that is the commentator's curse right there. Case in point, just bins it there and manages to sneak through that little gap in the tyres, but he's going to lose out to PS Fitz. PS Fitz moves himself through up into P5. And Luke Van der Streets, after such an impressive drive so far in this second race and tonight really as a whole, was obviously in that battle for the podium places, but now he's left it to Max Power and G-Sanks to fight it out over third place. These guys 3 seconds behind Kevsim, who is currently best of the rest here tonight. But 12 of you currently watching the stream as we see there, PS Fit's a bit wide there onto the grass going out of Knickerbrook. And Luke might have a bit of a run here. He's gone to the grass himself though there as they come into the final section of the lap, and flashed the lights there from Luke. Did PS Fit squeeze him? I think he might have done. It was difficult to see from that angle, but the flash the lights there from Luke, assuming indignance there for PS Fit, probably signifies that PS Fit squeezed him out and ran him out of road a little bit, as Sharkazoo's in the pit, so he must have damage there. So he's brought it in here at the end of lap 9. PS Fit and Luke Van der Streets battling over P5 right now. Not the position that Luke Van der Streets wanted to be battling over, I'm sure. But G-Sanks is now in third place, so Max Power's dropped it somewhere. Always made a mistake, because G-Sanks now running in the final podium place. So it's chopping and changing right now. It's all swapping around. 10 of you currently watching the stream, guys, if you are enjoying, please do smash the like button. We've got 8 likes coming on the stream. Can we get it to 10 likes before we get off here tonight? We've got Robe in the comments there saying Kevsim doing well today. He's doing well. He's best of the rest. But nobody in the same league as this man here, who's absolutely, he's just ran off. It's been unbelievable so far from Tinus here. G-Sanks has got max power now, reeling him in ever so slightly there, going into his stops. PS5 still just ahead of Luke Van der Streeks. These guys 4 seconds clear of Snoopy, who's got, I say Loopy there, who's got a couple of seconds back to Iraqi. They're now well ahead of Raki, who's running in 9th place. Next to mate there, P10. Roby there says Tynus needs balance of power. Yeah, I think he needs some kind of handicap for sure. But we're into the second half of the final race of the night here for the GT3 Sprint League here at Motive on ACC. On the PlayStation 5, currently PS5 still just ahead of Luke Van der Streets as they're coming out of Old Hall Corner. Down towards Cascades we go once again, but Luke Van der Streets seems to just be a little bit too far away off of the back of PS5s. And with damage also affecting him a little bit. Certainly not ideal for him. And I want to apologise also for yawning on the stream. It's very unprofessional of me, but I'm absolutely exhausted. I was up at 6 this morning. I'm usually up at 4:30 most mornings. So this morning was a bit of a lie-in, but I think I'm just suffering from an accumulation of exhaustion right now, to be honest. But max power still on the back here of G-Sanks as they're coming through on the exit of Knickerbrook once again. Tynus' gap at the front now 17 seconds as we complete lap 11. He's on course to win this race by over 30 seconds. Unbelievable job here from Tynus. As G-Sanks there really wide coming out of the lodge. That might give Max Power a bit of a run here, going down towards going down towards Old Hall, and G-Sanks lets him past. Wow, G-Sanks, I'm surprised to see that. Got off the gas going into turn 1, and Max Power then moves through up into 3rd place. So the race 1 winner clearly feels that he hasn't got what it takes to fight here. With the damage on his car, maybe he's conceded that one a little bit easily, but maybe he doesn't want to throw away the points. Knows that he's in the top 3 in the championship this season, so he wants to get some consistency going. Been a strong season so far from G-Sanks. Took his first win of the season tonight, actually, earlier on tonight. So yeah, he's just sort of getting his feet under the carpet here in this league. But around this circuit here tonight, I'll tell you what, it's been reasonably close with Tynus and the others around most circuits this season, but it seems like this track is just one that he absolutely must love, because he's completely demolished them tonight, and we haven't seen Tynus really destroy everybody in this sort of fashion that we're seeing right now over the course of this season. It's been reasonably close at most of the races, and then tonight he's just gone, you know what, nobody else is going to have a chance. I'm not giving anybody else an opportunity. That's it, I'm running off. But in reality, I think this must be a track that he absolutely loves, because his pace around here is insane. His quality pace was 1.1 ahead of Luke, I think it was, but his race pace is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how he is doing those times, I just do not know. It's out of this world, I tell you. In the meantime, we've got Luke Van der Streets on the back of PS5 as they're coming down towards Cascades. Still this battle going on, as it has been for the last few laps. Luke a bit wide there coming out of Cascades. But moving through there. Oh, what's happened to G-Sanks here? G-Sanks has made a mistake. He's lost out to PS5 and Luke here. So they're both up in position, and G-Sanks there has dropped down to P6. So what happened there? I didn't really see, to be honest. I just saw he dropped down the timing board suddenly in P6. So what a shame there for G-Sanks. He needs to be careful. He needs to get his act back together, because otherwise he'll have Kangi reeling him in here at the end of this race. Kangi now knocking on the door of a 6th place after starting at the back And it's been a very strong comeback drive indeed here from Kangi in this second race. Gap between Tynus and Kevsim now over 20 seconds. What a demolition it's been from Tynus here. What's happened to PS Vids here? PS Vids has dropped it somewhere through the middle sector. He's now behind G Sanks again. Kangi into P5. But PS Vids here down to 7th place, so he's had a bit of a nightmare at the beginning of this lap, and he's now got Snoopy on the back of him as well. So PS Vids making a big error. We saw G Sanks was making mistakes, but obviously we saw PS Vids moving ahead of G Sanks with Luke, but now Kangi is up into P5 ahead of G Sanks and PS Vids, and G Sanks wide there going out of Old Hall corner, and there's Snoopy there making his way through. So G Sanks has now lost out to PS Vids and Snoopy. PS Vids back up into P6, Snoopy into 7th. It's all going off here. G Sanks now down to 8th place with huge damage on the front of that car and the side and the rear. The whole car is absolutely battered. Honestly, I think a scrapyard would hesitate to take that. Kevsim here, looking like he made a bit of a mistake there. Max Power's now got to run, so Kevsim has made a huge mistake here coming through the final sector. Max Power moves his way through up into 2nd place. That came out of absolutely nowhere there. I just saw on a timing board that the gap could come down a little bit. And Max Power now into P2, so it's all happening here in the final part of this race. Wow, it's really a crazy end to this race, or crazy sort of final third. As Kevsim's now got a bit of a run down to Cascades, but he's too far back. Max Power's going to hold on for 2nd place there for the time being. In the meantime, Tynus is still your leader. But there's Max Power and Kevsim. They're going through the island bend here for the 14th time in this race. They're well ahead of Luke Van der Street's running in 4th place. He's a couple of seconds clear of Kangi, who's sat there in 5th. PS Vids there going for a shot, P6 at the moment. A couple of seconds clear of Snoopy there in 7th. And they're well clear of this man who's currently limping around with damage, and he'll have Raki coming up on the back of him quite soon, you would think. So Raki could be on for a P8 here in this second race of the night. Tony's okay saying all BMWs top places, yeah, top 4 currently lockout here for the BMWs. What a showing from them. Clearly the car of choice in the GT3s right now. I think the BMWs probably need a balance of power, to be honest. Oh, Tynus there making a mistake as he came through the on the exit of Knickerbrook. Needs to hold this together, man. I wonder if we're going to have... well, how many more laps we're going to have, because it could be quite close. Could be close as to whether or not we have 2 or 3 more laps here in In the meantime, Kev Sim still close on the back of Max Power. Oh, as Max Power makes a mistake, they're coming out of Druids, and Kev Sim there seizes on that, moves himself through up into second place. Didn't need a second invitation there to Kev Sim. Max Power tucking in for the time being. So these two continuing to fight it out over second place here in this race. But I reckon we're probably going to have 3 more laps, including the one that we're just starting now. And Kev Sim did not get a good run out of Old Hall at all there. Max Power's closing, but he's not going to get there in time into Cascades. So we've lost Caprigia, Totally Zero, Diego and Yellow Army from this race so far. They're all in the pits. Sharka Zulu is out there, but he's 3 laps down, but he will score points. But Kev Sim and Max Power are coming into Britain's for the 17th time here in this race. And Max Power still just trying to psych Kev Sim out a little bit here. Kangi's bringing the gap down to Luke as well. You can see it's just under 2 seconds, I would say now. The timing screen says it's 2.1. I'd say it's just under that at this point. So this is one to watch here. Kangi could be knocking on the door of P4 starting by the back here in this second race. As here we go, Max Power's looking to the inside here on Kev Sim. This is for second place here in this race. Into the Lodge corner we go. Max Power looking down the inside. Kev Sim goes a little bit deep, goes wide as well onto the grass, and he's lost it. He's round, and Kev Sim there facing the wrong way, and he's going to get it going. But he's going to get it going well before Luke Van der Streets comes up on the scene. He's just coming through Lodge now. So Kev Sim, oh, I tell you what, he struggled actually to get it going, and Luke Van der Streets is going to be on for a podium here. Wow, Luke Van der Streets comes through, and Kangi might be able to throw him through as well here. So Kangi could be in a position where he might be able to take a podium place here. Round the outside he goes. He moves himself through up into 4th place. So could Kangi be on for a podium after a nightmare of a start to this second race? What a performance, what a finish, what a result that would be for him. I'm watching Tynus here because I think we're only going to have 2 more laps after this one. Or no, we might even have only 1 more lap here in this race. Yeah, I reckon we're about to start the final lap here. It's about a 1 minute 34 lap. So I think after this it's going to be 1 more lap here of this Oulton Park circuit. It's going to be very close actually. Oh, it's going to be very close. 1 minute 38. Oh, it's going to be very, very close. Are we going to have... Is this going to be the final lap, or are we going to have 1 more after this? Time will tell us the answer to this one. For Luke Van der Streets, I'm sure that he's hoping and praying that we only have 1 more lap, because Kangi is very close on him now. Kev Sim also coming with him here. But we've seen Kev Sim making a couple of mistakes here. Totally Zero in the comments says Kev Sim's got this. Has he though? Luke Van der Streets here, running in that final podium place. You can see Kangi getting closer and closer to him here as we start what could be the final lap. It could be not. Could be the penultimate lap if Luke Van der Streets is unlucky here. Kev Sim is dropping off of these guys here in 5th place and looks to be out of that battle for the podium places. Tynus' gap over Max Power, 32 seconds. I said before it'd be over 30 seconds the way he was going, and it is. It has been an absolutely unbelievable performance from Tynus in the house in this second race. Probably driving with a little bit of frustration after not taking the win in the first race of the night, ending up with a P2 after starting 11th on the grid in the first race. So it was a extremely creditable performance from him nonetheless, but losing his winning streak, he's going to get back on the winning trail here in this second race in emphatic fashion. But he did start 1 more lap, so Tynus here has got 1 more lap to go. That's going to be not what Luke Van der Streets wanted to see here, with Kangi is still right on him here as we're coming on the exit of Knickerbrook. Kev Sim just over a second adrift of these guys. Luke van der Street didn't get a great run there coming out of Druids, and Kangi's now looking all over him here coming down towards Lodge corner, but Luke's just about got enough in hand here as they come through Lodge. Still no way for Kangi to find a way through here as we start what is the final lap for these guys. Kangi looking to the outside as we can see Luke van der Street's just defending the inside line coming into Old Hall corner. Can Kangi try and get a cut back here? No, he can't. Luke manages to get a good exit there coming down towards Cascades. Kev Sim here trying to attack on the back at Kangi, but he's too far back coming into Cascades. And Luke van der Street still running in your final podium place at the moment by the skin of his teeth. Tynus coming into the final sector. He's got a few corners to go. He's gapped 35 seconds over Max Power in second place. Luke van der Street's here defending the inside here from Kangi. Kangi looking all over him, trying to find a way through. Kev Sim here will be looking to try and feast on the scraps if these two trip over each other here on this final lap. But let's flick to our leader Tynus because he's coming up towards the line. It's going to be an emphatic victory here for Tynus in house, over 30 seconds clear of Max Power. What a job here in the second race. Makes up for his failure to win a race for the first time this season in the first race of tonight with a win in the second race. It's 5 wins from 6 so far this season for Tynus in the house. G-Sanks, Leximate and Day have all finished the race a lap down. Kangi still throwing the kitchen sink here at Luke van der Street as we're coming to the final sector. Kangi and Kev Sim right there hoping to capitalise, but I think Luke is going to be alright. He just needs to bring it through Druids here. Can Kangi get a good run here coming down towards Lodge corner? You can see here Luke van der Street's defending the inside line as we come in towards Lodge now. Max Power coming over the line to take P2. Luke van der Street's defending the inside here, and I think he is just going to hold on. So Luke van der Street's coming up towards the line to take third place here. Holds on for the podiums just ahead of Kangi. Wow, that was close. Luke there keeping ahead of Kangi with Kev Sim there coming over in P5. Lowell 3000 has finished the race a lap down in P12. Snoopy's come. PS Vids has finished in P6 there, just behind those guys. Snoopy's coming up towards the final, towards the start finish line to finish this one in P7. In the end, a few seconds clear of Raki, who's going to take 8th place here in his second race of the night. Sharka Zulu's coming through the final sector now. He's running in P13 here. As Caprigia, Diego and the Yellow Army all retiring from the race a long way out here. But Sharka Zulu out of Lodge corner here for the final time with the last driver to finish in P13, and that is that then, ladies and gentlemen. That is all she wrote here for tonight for the GT3 Sprint League here at Motive on ACC. Thanks to everybody who tuned in on the stream and liked the video. If you haven't already, guys, please do smash the like button as it helps us out enormously. We've currently got 8 likes. Can we get it to 10? Can we get it to 15 likes maybe? Guys, if you haven't already, please do hit it and subscribe to the channel. Join us at www.motiveracing.com. Also, if you want to get involved in the action on the ACC PS5 leagues, or you want to get involved on Project Cars 2 for the PS4 and PS5, or F1 as well, also for PS4 and PS5. But yeah, guys, thanks ever so much. We'll see you in the next one. Join us next week for the next round of the PS5 GT3 Sprint League. We will be live at the same time as usual, 8 PM here on the channel. We will be live from Barcelona for that one. Also join us on ACC on Sunday night. We'll be live for the GT3 Championship, which will be live from 7 PM for Tier 2. That will be at Watkins Glen for round 3 of that championship. If you want to check out some more sim racing action here at Motive, then join us on Thursday, tomorrow night, for the touring cars on Project Cars 2. Where we'll be racing at Brands Hatch on the GP circuit. We'll also be live on F1 on Friday night at the Hungara Ring as well, from 6:30 PM UK time. But yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see you soon. Take it easy, and yeah, good night.